Rain fell like broken glass from the night sky, slicing through the silence of a forgotten street. Against a rusted iron gate, a small figure trembled, barely visible in the storm. His fur clung to his fragile frame, each drop of water pulling him deeper into the cold. The rope around his neck had cut into the skin, soaked dark with rain and fear. His paws shifted restlessly on the hard ground, searching for warmth that didn't exist. He tried to cry out, but the thunder swallowed his voice. The world had turned its back on him, leaving him tied to a place where no one came, no one cared. Hours passed like lifetimes. His eyes, too big for his face, searched the darkness with a question no one answered. Why was I left here? And then, just as the storm began to ease, a sound cut through the silence. Footsteps. A shadow paused at the gate. The man leaned down, and in that suspended breath, the puppy's fate wavered between despair and the possibility of something greater. The story begins in the dead of night, where the puppy is found tied to a rusted gate during a violent rainstorm. The chapter immerses us in his fear, hunger, and exhaustion, his world defined by the cold rope and the endless waiting. The environment mirrors his loneliness: water dripping from tin roofs, the smell of wet earth, and the emptiness of an abandoned street. This chapter ends with the first human footsteps, the uncertain moment where rescue might begin, or danger could return.
The rescuer, a passerby, unties the fragile body from the gate. The puppy resists at first, scarred by mistrust. Every movement, hesitant paw steps, flinches at sudden gestures, reveals his fear of people. The man wraps him in a blanket, carrying him through the rain to safety. But the fragile relief is cut by urgency. The puppy's body is limp, breath shallow. At the veterinary clinic, harsh fluorescent lights reveal the full damage: malnutrition, hypothermia, and rope burns. A vet warns he might not make it through the night. The chapter closes on the flickering beeps of a monitor, each one holding the question of survival.
This chapter lives in suspense. The puppy battles between life and death in the sterile, humming world of the clinic. Machines beat, nurses whisper, and every hour is borrowed time. There are setbacks. His heart slows, his breathing falters, but small miracles too. A twitch of his paw, a flicker in his eyes. The rescuer refuses to leave his side, whispering promises to a dog who may not hear them. The climax comes when the monitor flatlines for a breathless second, then surges back. He survives the night.
The puppy begins to recover, but healing is fragile. He flinches at raised hands, hides in corners, and startles at sudden sounds. The rescuer takes him home, turning his house into a sanctuary of patience. Slowly, trust begins to grow. Warm meals replace hunger. Gentle hands replace the rope. The puppy's first tail wag comes like sunrise after a storm, a moment so small yet immense. This chapter closes on a powerful beat. The first time he falls asleep with his head resting on the rescuer's lap, surrendering to peace.
Weeks later, the puppy is strong, his fur grown thick and shining. The once forgotten street is replaced by green fields and sunlight. He runs, stumbles, and chases shadows with the clumsy joy of youth. But the emotional peak comes not in play, but in recognition, when the rescuer kneels and calls his name, and the puppy sprints into his arms without hesitation. The story ends in reflection. The rope that once held him captive has been replaced by invisible threads of love. What was once abandonment has turned into belonging.